The dormant world, the Kylan scout ship, Shadow Walker, drifted silently through the dark void. Its advanced sensors focused on the small blue planet orbiting the unremarkable yellow star. For 8 months now, Lieutenant Commander Vex had been observing this world, cataloging everything his instruments could detect. The data streams painted a picture of the most peaceful civilization he had ever encountered. Supreme Commander Zorak studied the reports aboard his flagship, the massive dreadnought Iron Dominion, stationed 3 light-years away in the safety of deep space. The holographic displays showed endless fields of green vegetation, cities with no visible weapon installations, and creatures that seemed to spend most of their time tending crops or engaging in recreational activities. They call themselves humans, Vex reported during their latest communication. The species appears completely focused on agriculture and primitive entertainment. Our thermal scans show no military installations, no weapon manufacturing facilities, no defensive preparations of any kind. Zorak's reptilian features twisted into what might have been amusement. In his 40 years of conquest, he had never encountered such a defenseless world. The Kylan Empire had crushed civilizations with plasma cannons capable of melting asteroids, had defeated species with energy shields that could deflect small moons, had conquered races that could manipulate gravity itself. Yet here was a planet whose inhabitants seemed concerned only with growing food and watching moving pictures on primitive screens. What about their space capabilities? Zorak asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. Minimal, sir. They have launched a few metal containers into orbit around their planet. Chemical propulsion systems that would be considered antiques in our museums. No faster-than-light capability detected. No energy weapons. Their most advanced orbital structure appears to be a simple scientific station. The Supreme Commander leaned back in his command chair, processing this information. The Kylan Empire had been expanding for 3 centuries, absorbing system after system into their domain. Some species joined willingly after seeing demonstrations of Kylan military might. Others fought desperate wars that lasted decades before finally surrendering. But Earth seemed like it would offer no resistance at all. Emperor Malthan would be pleased. The expansion quotas for this sector were behind schedule, and an easy conquest would help balance the books. More importantly, this world appeared to have abundant natural resources and a large population that could be converted into productive citizens of the Empire. Continue monitoring, Zorak ordered. I want complete tactical data before we proceed. 3,000 light-years away on Earth. Captain Elena Rodriguez walked through the underground command center buried beneath the Colorado mountains. The massive facility hummed with quiet activity as hundreds of technicians monitored screens, filled with data streams and tactical information. To any observer, it might have looked like a standard military installation. But Elena knew better. Dr. James Chen looked up from his workstation as she approached. The brilliant scientist had been instrumental in developing the technologies that would soon change everything. His calm demeanor betrayed none of the excitement Elena knew he must be feeling. Status report, James, she said, settling into a chair beside his console. Our orbital watchers detected another scan attempt 6 hours ago, he replied, pulling up a holographic display. Same source, same energy signature. They're being very thorough. Elena nodded. The alien scouts had been observing Earth for months. Now, never suspecting that their own advanced sensors were being tracked by even more sophisticated human technology. Every scan they performed was detected, analyzed, and catalogued. Every movement of their ship was monitored and recorded. "How much longer until they make their move?" she asked. "Based on their behavior patterns and the intensity of their surveillance, I estimate 2 to 3 weeks. They're gathering the specific data you'd need for a large-scale invasion." Alina smiled grimly. 2 to 3 weeks would be perfect. The final preparations would be complete by then, and every defensive system would be fully operational. The aliens watching from space saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a peaceful, agricultural world with no military capabilities and no interest in warfare. The deception had taken decades to perfect. Every city on Earth had been carefully planned to hide its true purpose. What looked like farms from space were actually camouflaged installations. Office buildings that appeared to house civilian workers were really command centers coordinating global defense networks. Even the primitive space stations orbiting Earth served a dual purpose, broadcasting false information while housing some of the most advanced sensor arrays ever created. "Any updates on the deep space monitoring stations?" Alina asked. "All 16 installations report normal operations. We're tracking at least 40 alien vessels in nearby star systems. Most appear to be military ships, probably waiting for orders to move." Alina felt a familiar mixture of anticipation and concern. Humanity had been preparing for this moment since the first intercepted alien communications 30 years ago. Those early signals had revealed the existence of a vast galactic empire that absorbed worlds through conquest or intimidation. Earth's governments had immediately begun secret preparations, pooling resources and knowledge in ways that would have seemed impossible during peacetime. The key had been understanding how the Kylan Empire operated. They were methodical, efficient, and utterly convinced of their own superiority. They would study a target world, catalog its defenses, then deploy exactly enough force to ensure quick victory. The strategy had worked flawlessly for centuries because most civilizations fought conventionally, matching force with force until the stronger side prevailed. But humanity had chosen a different path. Instead of building obvious military installations that would be detected and countered, they had hidden their preparations beneath a facade of peaceful development. Advanced weapon systems were disguised as agricultural equipment. Underground facilities were masked by innocent-looking surface structures. Most importantly, humanity had unified in secret, creating a single command structure while maintaining the appearance of divided nations. Dr. Chen pulled up another display showing the status of defensive installations worldwide. Green indicators marked completed systems across every continent. Underground rail networks connected major cities. Orbital defense platforms masqueraded as scientific satellites. Mountain ranges hid massive energy weapons capable of targeting ships in deep space. "The beauty of it," James said, "is that they're looking for traditional military signatures. Energy weapons, armor plating, defensive shields. They have no idea that a grain silo in Kansas can launch guided missiles, or that a research station in Antarctica houses a particle beam array." Alina nodded, remembering the early debates about this strategy. Many military leaders had wanted to build conventional defenses, arguing that deception was too risky. But the civilian scientists had insisted that humanity's only advantage lay in being underestimated. If the aliens knew Earth's true capabilities, they would simply send a larger fleet. "Ma'am," a technician called out from across the command center, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Orbital Monitoring Station 7. Alina walked over to the communication array, where the technician was adjusting frequency settings. The image that appeared on the main screen showed Commander Sarah Mitchell, aboard one of Earth's disguised orbital platforms. Alina, we've detected a significant change in the alien surveillance pattern, Sarah reported. They've increased scanning frequency by 300% over the last 12 hours. Multiple energy signatures suggest they're preparing to transmit data to a larger force. Time to contact, Alina asked. Based on the transmission, direction, and power requirements, I estimate their main fleet is approximately 72 hours away at maximum faster-than-light speed. Alina felt her pulse quicken. After months of careful preparation and patient waiting, the moment was finally approaching. She turned to address the entire command center. All stations, prepare for implementation of Protocol Omega. Notify all department heads that we are moving to final readiness status. Authorization Tango 7 Alpha. Across the facility, technicians began activating systems that had been waiting in standby mode for months. Deep beneath the ocean floors, submarine-launched interceptor platforms came online. In major cities around the world, civilian populations began moving to predetermined safe zones according to carefully rehearsed evacuation plans. To any external observer, Earth still appeared peaceful and unprepared. But beneath the surface, an entire planet was transforming into the most sophisticated defensive network ever created. Dr. Chen joined Alina at the central command console. You know, he said quietly, they probably think this will be the easiest conquest in their empire's history. Alina smiled, watching the status boards light up with green indicators as Earth's hidden defenses came fully online. That's exactly what we want them to think. The greatest weapon we have is their own arrogance. In space, the Kylan scout ship completed its final surveillance sweep. Lieutenant Commander Vex compiled his report with professional satisfaction. This backward world would fall within hours of the fleet's arrival. The humans showed no signs of advanced technology, no evidence of military preparation, no indication that they even suspected the coming invasion. As the scout ship prepared to transmit its data to Supreme Commander Zorak, Vex allowed himself a moment of sympathy for the creatures below. They seemed so peaceful, so focused on their simple lives of farming and basic industry. It was almost sad that such an innocent species would soon learn the harsh realities of galactic politics. The transmission burst lasted only seconds, carrying terabytes of tactical data across the light years to the waiting Kylan fleet. Within hours, that information would be analyzed, invasion plans would be finalized, and 47 warships would begin their final approach to Earth. Neither Vex nor his commanders suspected that every bit of data in their transmission had been intercepted, decoded, and was already being analyzed by human intelligence systems that made Kylan technology look primitive by comparison. The trap was set, the players were in position, and humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson about the dangers of underestimating Earth. The awakening stormed the Kylan invasion fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system like a constellation of death. 47 warships spread across space in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with the dark metal that had struck fear into 100 conquered worlds. Supreme Commander Zorak stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue planet grow larger on his displays. Beautiful world, commented his tactical officer, Lieutenant Korax. Almost seems wrong to conquer something so pristine. Expression remained impassive. Beauty was irrelevant in war. Only strength mattered, and the Kylan Empire possessed strength beyond measure. Each ship in his fleet could level a continent. Combined, they carried enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. Communications, broadcast standard surrender demands on all frequencies. Zorak ordered. The message went out across every communication channel Earth possessed, translated into the dominant human languages by Kylon, artificial intelligence systems. The words were simple and direct, honed by centuries of successful conquests. People of Earth, you are now subjects of the Kylon Empire. Cease all resistance and prepare for occupation. Any hostile action will be met with complete annihilation. You have 1 standard hour to comply. In the Colorado Command Center, Captain Alina Rodriguez heard the alien ultimatum with grim satisfaction. Everything was proceeding exactly as predicted. Dr. James Chen stood beside her, monitoring the incoming data streams that tracked each alien vessel. 47 ships, he reported. Exactly what our intelligence estimated. They've positioned themselves in a standard invasion formation, probably expecting us to panic and surrender immediately. Alina nodded, then activated the global communication network that connected every defense installation on the planet. All stations, this is Command Alpha. The visitors have arrived and announced their intentions. Execute Defensive Protocol 7. Repeat, execute Defensive Protocol 7. Around the world, seemingly innocent installations began their transformation. In the grain fields of Kansas, massive silos split open to reveal intercontinental ballistic missiles armed with warheads designed specifically to penetrate alien energy shields. Beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, research stations rotated to expose particle beam weapons capable of striking targets in orbit. Ocean platforms disguised as oil rigs revealed their true nature as the sea around them erupted with the launch of submarine-based interceptors. Supreme Commander Zorak was reviewing tactical displays when his sensor operator called out in confusion. "Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the planet's surface. Multiple locations showing power spikes." "Explain," Zorak ordered, though he felt the first stirring of unease. "Unknown, sir. The readings don't match any technology in our database. They appear to be weapons systems, but that's impossible. Our reconnaissance showed no advanced military installations." Before Zorak could respond, his communication officer interrupted. "Sir, we're receiving a response from Earth." The voice that filled the bridge was calm and confident, speaking in accented Kylon that demonstrated a surprising understanding of their language. "Kylon Fleet, this is Captain Alina Rodriguez of Earth Defense Command. Your ultimatum has been received and rejected. You have entered our system without permission and threatened our people. You now have 30 seconds to reverse course and leave, or we will consider you hostile invaders and respond accordingly." The bridge fell silent. In 3 centuries of expansion, no primitive world had ever responded with such confidence to Kylon demands. Zorak's tactical training took over, pushing aside his confusion. "Lock weapons on the source of that transmission," he ordered. "Prepare to demonstrate our power." But as his weapons systems came online, something impossible happened. The planet below came alive. What had appeared to be peaceful cities suddenly bristled with defensive installations. Buildings that seemed to house civilian populations revealed themselves as military command centers. Parks and recreational areas opened like flowers to expose missile batteries and energy weapons. Most shocking of all, the primitive orbital stations began moving with impossible speed and agility, taking up defensive positions around the planet. "Sir," his sensor operator shouted. "Multiple launches from the planet's surface. Hundreds of contacts, all heading directly for us." Zorak watched in growing horror as his tactical display filled with incoming missiles. But these weren't the primitive chemical rockets his reconnaissance had detected. These moved with the acceleration curves of advanced propulsion systems, adjusting course in flight and splitting into multiple warheads as they approached his fleet. Evasive maneuvers, he ordered. All ships, emergency protocols. The first wave of human missiles struck the Kylan formation with devastating effect. Energy shields that had protected against plasma cannons and particle beams proved inadequate against weapons designed specifically to counter them. 3 ships exploded instantly. 5 more suffered critical damage and began falling out of formation. "How is this possible?" Zorak demanded. "Our intelligence showed no advanced technology." Dr. Chen, monitoring the battle from Earth's command center, allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. "Phase 1 complete," he reported to Alina. "Their shields are down 30% across the fleet. Initiating Phase 2. Around the world, the second tier of Earth's defenses came online. Mountain ranges that had looked completely natural split apart to reveal massive railgun installations. Ocean trenches erupted as underwater weapons platforms surfaced and began targeting the alien fleet. Most impressively, what had appeared to be asteroid mining operations in Earth's outer system revealed themselves as heavily armed battle stations that had been positioned months ago. The Kylan fleet found itself under attack from directions they hadn't even considered possible. Weapons fired from the planet's surface, from concealed orbital platforms, and from installations they hadn't known existed. Their formation, designed to maximize firepower against a conventional defense, became a liability as human weapons struck from multiple vectors simultaneously. "Sir," Lieutenant Korax reported with barely controlled panic, "we've lost 12 ships. The humans are using coordinated targeting systems. They're not fighting like primitives at all." Zorak was beginning to understand the magnitude of his mistake. This wasn't a simple conquest operation anymore. It was a carefully planned ambush, executed by an enemy that had studied Kylan tactics and prepared specifically to counter them. "Status of ground assault capabilities?" he asked. "Compromised, sir. The humans have some kind of global defense network. Every major city shows military installations that weren't there during reconnaissance. It's like they've been hiding their entire military infrastructure." Alina Rodriguez watched the tactical display with professional satisfaction. The alien fleet was in complete disarray, their formation broken, their advantage lost. But she knew the real test was yet to come. "James, initiate Phase 3. Show them what human engineering can really accomplish." Around Earth's orbit, installations that had remained hidden throughout the battle suddenly powered up. These weren't converted civilian structures or camouflaged weapon platforms. These were humanity's crown jewels, built in secret over 3 decades using technology reverse-engineered from captured alien probes and enhanced by human ingenuity. Supreme Commander Zorak watched in disbelief as sleek vessels emerged from what he had thought were empty space. They moved with impossible grace, accelerating without visible propulsion systems, changing direction in ways that defied physics as he understood it. When they opened fire, their weapons tore through Kylan armor as if it were made of paper. "Sir," his communication officer reported with a shaking voice, "I'm detecting faster-than-light communications from the human ships. They're talking to something outside our sensor range." The implications hit Zorak like a physical blow. If humans had faster-than-light communication, they might also have faster-than-light travel. If they had ships outside sensor range, This battle was just the beginning. His worst fears were confirmed when new contacts appeared on his displays. Human vessels emerging from hyperspace behind his fleet, cutting off any retreat. They had been waiting, positioned perfectly to complete the encirclement. "This is impossible," he whispered. "How did primitives develop technology superior to our own?" Elena's voice came over the communication channels, calm and professional. "Commander Zorak, your fleet is surrounded and outgunned. We offer you the same choice you gave us. Surrender immediately and prepare to be escorted from our system, or face complete destruction." For the first time in his career, Supreme Commander Zorak found himself outmatched by an enemy he had completely underestimated. His fleet was scattered and damaged. His tactical advantage was gone. Worst of all, he was beginning to realize that Earth hadn't been caught off guard at all. They had been waiting for this invasion, prepared for it, and had turned his own overconfidence against him. "Sir," Lieutenant Korax said quietly, "our options are limited. We can try to fight our way out, but the humans have demonstrated capabilities we don't understand. Or we can surrender and hope they show more mercy than we would have." Zorak looked at his damaged fleet, then at the human ships that surrounded them with almost casual efficiency. Pride warred with pragmatism in his mind. The Kylan Empire had never suffered a military defeat, but it had also never faced an enemy like this. "Open a channel to the human commander," he said finally. Elena's image appeared on his main screen, and Zorak was surprised to see not the hardened warrior he expected, but a calm professional who looked more like a scientist than a soldier. "Captain Rodriguez," he said with as much dignity as he could manage, "I request terms for the withdrawal of my fleet." Elena's expression remained neutral. "Your ships will be escorted to the edge of our system. You will transmit full tactical data about your empire's military capabilities to your government, and you will deliver a message from Earth to your emperor." "What message?" Elena's smile was cold and confident. "Tell him that Earth is not a primitive world waiting to be conquered. We are a civilization that has been preparing for contact with the galaxy for decades. We welcome peaceful relationships with other species, but we will not tolerate invasion or threats. If the Kylan Empire wants to coexist with humanity, they can send ambassadors. If they want war, they now know what they'll be facing." As the battered Kylan fleet limped away from Earth under human escort, Supreme Commander Zorak composed the most difficult report of his career. The easy conquest had become a humiliating defeat. The primitive world had revealed itself as a sophisticated military power. Most troubling of all, humanity had demonstrated that they could match or exceed Kylan technology when they chose to reveal their true capabilities. Behind them, Earth continued its daily routines. Farms produced food, cities bustled with activity, and orbital stations conducted scientific research. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Beneath the peaceful surface lay a civilization that had turned preparation and patience into the ultimate weapons. The age of easy conquest was over. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy, and the message was clear: Earth would not submit. The empire that had thought it faced sheep had awakened sleeping lions, and the galaxy would never be the same.